So what is going on, guys? It is your boy Garage Gaming here, and today I wanted to do a quick overview over the Challenger 2. This is the first vehicle they have announced to rank 7 and the new update. Thing is, I'm tired of the old format where I would just walk through the dev blog and look at all the different facts, read it out, and then voice my opinions afterwards, because let's face it, if we're interested, we would have already have read the dev blog ourselves. We don't need the YouTuber to just read it out for us, so I think we should just go right into talking about this tank. And honestly, this one's a bit of a sad one to me. I know a lot of people are going to be really happy to see it in the game, but I'm going to be entirely honest here. Talking about real life for a second, this may be the last British tank, if not in British Army service, but developed by Britain to begin with. The factory that produces these vehicles has long since shut. The ammunition factory for these vehicles is gone, has been gone for a while now. Ammunition is now built in Belgium, apparently. There is no indication that there will be a Challenger 3 at all. There have been numerous attempts to upgrade this vehicle, but if the money and desire is not there, then they won't be fitting a 1500 horsepower engine to it or a smoothbore gun. There's no reason to. They have no requirement for a tank in the United Kingdom. Now, I know that sounds really, negative and all that, but if we're going to be real here, if there's no reason to upgrade or spend money on your tank, it's not like the other European countries where they're on the, the great northern European plain, aka the sort of highway of death and war for the past 2,000 years. No. Britain is a naval power at heart, and we live in a time of shrinking defence budgets, depending on where you live. And if I'm going to be entirely honest, there's not much of a chance of there being a Challenger 3. Now, tomorrow the Ministry of Defence could turn around and announce it. But to be quite honest, it's kind of sad, because not only might this be the last sort of tank in Britain, but it may be the last British tank we get in-game. There aren't that many upgrade programs that this tank can actually use in the game. It's not like the Soviets where they've got 4 different MBTs of the same type, each with their own different, A, B, BV, U, UD, UM. That's not here. This tank may have one upgrade, and that would be something along the lines of the Street Fighter project, or anything that adds ERA to the tank or adds the Dorchester block to the front, the lower front plate, but that's it. After that, there's not really much else we can add for the British high tier. There simply isn't a tank to be added after this. At least with the Soviets, the Russians, we haven't even gotten to the T90 yet. We haven't even gotten to the later variants of the T72 and the T80's just been announced. But for the British, that's it. There's nothing else after this tank. This is the literal end of the line for the nation. And I think this is the first time that this has actually happened. This is the first time we have hit the cap for a country. And I don't think that has really set in for a lot of people. But I find it, incredible that we've gone from, the cruiser tanks of the early 30s Britain to the Challenger 2. That's quite an achievement, and I congratulate them. They invented the tank after all, but gotta be honest, it's not likely going to be good. I fell into the myth, the sort of legend of the Challenger tank being this invulnerable beast with extremely heavy armor and 1300 millimeters of chemical protection, and that was the Challenger 1. But apparently it's the most accurately modelled vehicle, because the game does not fit the design requirements of Challenger 1. Challenger 1 was designed to sit on hills and sling rounds at tanks in the distance that were meant to attack it. It can fight in wars, sure, like it fought in Desert Storm, and the Challenger 2 fought in the 2003 invasion of Iraq. I meant the Challenger 1 fought in Desert Storm, sorry. But honestly, your opponents are driving T72s and T55s. Of course you're going to win. Take the T55 in game right now and fight a Challenger 1 with it. That's only going to end one way. But the thing is, even though the Challenger 2 will have better armor than the Challenger 1 and better firepower, it still has that glaring lower frontal plate. It still has lackluster mobility. 55 Ks. You put the armor on it, it goes down to 49. How can that keep up with the meta? It can't. And so, for a lot of people, unfortunately, they're going to buy this tank. They're going to grind for it and get it, knowing, some people may think, it'll get better. It will get better when I get the Challenger 2. And I gotta be honest, it won't, because that extra armor on the turret doesn't help the fact that there's still a glaring lower frontal plate weak spot. It doesn't help the fact that everything else is going to be able to penetrate you and is going to be able to outmaneuver you, and it will still have armor. It won't be easy for these tanks. They don't realize that the tanks with the Challenger and the Abrams, they all have to fight these very modern tanks. Now the Abrams gets speed and armor and firepower, but the Challenger lacks the speed. It just does not have the mobility to keep up on a modern battlefield and at the new top tier meta. So unfortunately, as much as I'd love to see this tank in game, and as much as I'd love to talk about it and its long and great service history, I'm not saying it's a bad tank. It just does not fit the meta of the game. And that's all I've got to say about the Challenger 2, unfortunately. This has been your man Gary G Gaming, and let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. Speak to you soon, okay? Bye bye.